between nothingness and eternity, barren of events, reaching pretensions, my earthly life, obscurity, my real name, wholly unto myself I exist, I wrap no soul in my embrace, no mentor worthy of my caliber have I am all alone between failure and frustration. I am the red thread between nothingness and eternity. Bad exists so that we can value good more than ever. Because if we know something is not good in us, then we appreciate something good around us. Otherwise, we will not value. It is always bad. Bad means less light. Bad, there is no, everywhere there is light, but where there is more light, abundant light, infinite light, we call it good. And when we see little light, we say it is bad. God is inside everybody. So there is a little light. In some cases there is little light, in some cases effulgent light, light infinite. So we are all making progress. When we value the light that is infinitely brighter, infinitely more illumining, then eventually you grow into that light. So bad is not, what you call bad is not as powerful or as soulful or as fruitful. Otherwise, bad is not something totally dark. That is no, and good is only trying to help the. It is like a weaker brother is being drawn by the stronger brother. A strong, in a family, if there are two brothers, the younger one is supposed to be weak, but the older one shows him how to be strong, how to be a good person. So it is, and the younger one also has to listen and obey the older one, that he wants to be as strong and as beautiful, as perfect as him. So what we say bad, it is not really bad, that it is all darkness, that is hopeless, useless. No, it is only little less light than the one that has so much light.
The following program is part of a continuing series of dialogues with major figures in world religions sponsored by the Department of Religion of the University of Vermont. And today we're very fortunate to have with us as our honored guest, Sri Chinmoy. Sri Chinmoy is recognized as a foremost figure in world religions today. He is a poet, a philosopher, a very prolific writer, an artist, and a wonderful teacher and musician. He was born in the province of Bengal in India in 1931, and he studied with Sri Aurobindo at the Aurobindo ashram for a period of approximately 20 years. He came to the United States in 1964 with the Indian consulate in New York, and he inaugurated a series of lectures in 1968, which he has continued now lecturing all over North America. And he has founded a number of centers, study centers, Sri Chinmoy centers. I believe the number is now somewhat over 60 throughout North America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. Among his great accomplishments, including the authorship of over 400 books, includes his interest in athletics. He is recognized as one of the patrons and inspirers of the whole field of physical fitness and running, marathon running especially. And today I would like to speak to Sri Chinmoy about his background, his early training, and especially about his work at the United Nations.
People who have accepted the spiritual life, and if they feel that they are superior to others, then their spirituality is next to nothing. Spirituality is not for superiority or inferiority. Spirituality is for union, oneness. Here, there is nobody superior and nobody is inferior. All spirituality is a song of oneness, universal oneness. So if one can sincerely sing the song of oneness, then he is doing the right thing. Nobody is superior, nobody is inferior. Only a oneness song we sing.
Well, I have students, over 60 or 70 countries, and they are very kind to me, and I also try to be kind to them. They are very, very devoted to me, and I tell them, I am not the Guru, I am not the Guru. There is only one Guru, and that Guru is God Himself. So I try to direct them towards God. Only one Guru. I am only their elder brother, because I have done started yoga long before they did.
Because people who are extremely sincere, extremely pure, then their sincerity, simplicity, and purity will always save them from the outside world, from the outer ways of expressing or manifesting or realizing the truth. They will be always protected.
Only a student can learn. If I remain a student of peace, I will be the happiest and the proudest person. Student. Only a student can learn. So it is just I am a student of peace. If people call me student of peace, I will be extremely, extremely grateful to them. Peace is a subject. It is inexhaustible. There's no limit. So if I can be a student of peace, then I shall be able to learn. And I shall be able to enter into each heart and see how much sincere cry each individual has in his heart. Peace is not a dictionary word. Peace is the heart breath of God. God will never be satisfied unless and until his heart breath he can share with his entire creation.
Now, after prayers and meditation in the morning, let us try to look at a flower and see the beauty of the flower. And let us try to smell the fragrance. The beauty and the fragrance of the flower will definitely give us joy. Now the flower we are seeing with our human eyes in front of us. Let us try to imagine this beautiful flower, this fragrance, celestial fragrance, inside our heart. And then let us go to work, to our respective work. Yes, we shall have to enter into the hustle and bustle of life. There is so much turbulence, so much wrong decision. But if we know that deep within us is the beauty unparalleled, and fragrance, unparalleled fragrance, then the outer world of conflicts, turmoil, and all negative forces will not be able to, I'm not saying will not be able to a great extent, we will be able to keep ourselves free from the outer circumstances. We will not be disturbed because our inner beauty and our fragrance will be of constant help to us. Only early in the morning we are starting with inner beauty and inner fragrance. Then if the inner beauty, we can maintain it throughout the day, and the people can, when somebody is unkind to us, we do not have to be unkind to him, that, let us say, tit for tat principle will not work. But he will see something within us, the person who is misbehaving, something within us is like a magnet pulling him towards us, and that is our love. Our love power is infinitely stronger than his negative power or his misconduct. But this love, all-pervading love we can get only when we see the beauty within us and when we feel that we are nothing but fragrance, where our entire being is inundated with heavenly fragrance. So we have the weapon, we have the protection within us to face the outer world. The outer world of uncomeliness can easily be challenged and can be defeated by our own inner beauty, inner fragrance. This inner beauty is our inner indomitable strength. We have to feel that our inner light, inner power, whatever we have deep within us, is infinitely stronger, provided we can use it, use them properly. They can easily fight against the outer situations. But if you do not have inner wealth, inner resources, then we suffer.
My only religion is love of God. This is what I have been teaching my students. Love God. This is the only religion. So they come from various backgrounds, but we have only one way to arrive at God's door, by practicing one thing, love of God. By virtue of our prayers and meditations, we try to please God in His own way. In our own ways we have tried for centuries long. We have had many more incarnations. We try to fulfill our desire. There is this hunger we can never satisfy. The way of desire, it is endless, endless, endless. Again, the way of, we use the term aspiration. Only love God in His own way. Love, devotion, surrender. What we heard, let thy will be done. Ours is the same. We pray to God to fulfill Him in His own way, not our way. When He fulfills our desires from one house to two houses, then there comes a time we are never fully satisfied. Then we suffer from the bite of egos and jealousy and all kinds of things. We think we are very great. Next moment, when you turn, somebody is greater. Then we say somebody is greatest, like this. So when you enter into the world of competition, we suffer. But when we enter into the world of oneness, we do not suffer. Our only desire is to please God in His own way, not always that the inner voice will tell us what is good, what is wrong. The inner voice will never make any mistake. And the inner voice will tell us, when you pray and meditate, when you pray like this, we go up. At that time we feel like this, God is listening to us, whatever we have said. But again, we pray to God to make us mind pure, to give us a big heart and all this. Pray, this is our prayer, to fulfill Him. Then again we meditate like this. At that time we are talking to God, whatever we need from Him. Then when we meditate like this, we feel that God is talking to us, He is entering into us and He is saying, you can't do this, you should do this, you should. He advises us. When we pray, we talk to God. When we meditate, God talks to us how to become His good children. So we talk to God when we pray, when we meditate, He comes and talks to us what we should do and what we should not do.
spirituality means inspiration. Spirituality means aspiration. In inspiration, we can see. Now here, you are inspiring me. I am inspiring you. While you are asking me questions, I definitely feel that you are inspiring me. The same way, I feel that I am inspiring you as well. But aspiration is something deep within. That aspiration we cannot outwardly show. We can show only when you have reached a certain height, a sublime height. Then one can, while aspiring, others will be able to see and feel in his face all around him. So in that way, inspiration and aspiration are of paramount importance in a seeker's spiritual life. I am a seeker, and I used to remain an eternal seeker. I am a lover of God, and I have made my unconditional love to execute God's will. I am a lover of God, and I want to become I am an unconditional lover of God. I want at every moment God's victory to be established throughout the length and breadth of the world.
Now, I have a question regarding yoga itself, the path of yoga. You're recognized today as one of the foremost philosophers and teachers of yoga, especially in the West. And if you could say a few words about the path of yoga, that would be very helpful.
Yoga, as you know, is a Sanskrit word. It means union with God. Now, there is a great difference between conscious union and unconscious union. Here, millions, billions, and trillions of human beings are on earth. There are again countless human beings are not conscious of their source. Again, there are quite a few who are deeply interested in their source. They want to go back to the source, or they want to have a glimpse of the source. So those who practice yoga consciously will sooner or later go to the source and have a free access to the source. Whenever you do something consciously, we get the result convincingly. But if you do it unconsciously, then we may not get the result, and again, if you get the result, we may not appreciate it. And if we do not appreciate, then we cannot make profit. We cannot get any benefit from any life. So we have to value the spiritual life. And in order to value the spiritual life, we have to be conscious of the spiritual life. I have to be conscious of you first, as a professor. Then I have to value your wisdom, that vast wisdom you have. Then if I value your wisdom, then only I can go back, I can come to your source and know. If I don't value who you are, what you are, how am I going to realize your capacities? So the yoga starts with conscious oneness, with the reality, with the supreme source. And in order to do that, we have to pray, we have to meditate. I am a teacher. I teach a way of life. It is not religion, and it is a way of prayers and meditations. So Guru means teacher, as you have teachers in the school. So here also we call the term Guru, one who teaches people how to pray. I was born in India, and Hinduism is one religion, like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. But from my prayers, I have come to learn that there is only one religion, and that religion is love of God. I love God, you love God. You see, Hinduism will say love God, Christianity will say love God, Islam will say Buddhism will say love God. Everybody says love God. Then how can there be any problem? So my religion is to love God.
I was born as a Hindu, but I will say my present religion is love of God, not Hinduism. Because Hinduism one religion, then Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, all. So my philosophy is all the religions I love. I love all the religions. I appreciate, admire all the religions. But my own religion is love of God. Path of the heart is to love God and serve God. Love God, serve God. God is creator, God is creation. God is the creator, God is the creation. We are His creations. So I love you, you love me. And I serve you, you serve me. This is the path of the heart. Here I won't say, I am greater than you are. You are no good. No. I will say, you are good, I am good. We both of us are good. I love you, I shall help you. You love me, you will help me. This is the path of the heart. And if it's the path of the mind, I'll say, you are no good, I am very good. He will say, I am very bad, you are very good. All is, I am better. But the path of the heart is no. I am good, you are also good. I am good, you are good. I love you, you love me. This is called path of the heart.
Do you see any difference or special characteristics in North American students as opposed to students in other countries, specifically India? In other words, would your program of study and instruction be different, especially geared for North American students?
No, it won't be. Because our path is the path of the heart. See, you are an American and I'm an Indian. And you can see, you can feel, I have a free access to your heart. And you have a free access to my heart. You are a seeker, I am a seeker. Here we are in the television studio. I am not finding any difficulty, in answering your question or in entering into your heart and soul, in entering into your life of aspiration and dedication. And I feel the same. You also don't have any difficulty in entering into me and examining me whether I am sincere or I am of any service to you. So here the role of the heart that counts most, not the mind. If you use your mind, you may suspect me. If I use my mind, I will suspect you or I will doubt you. But we are not using your mind, I am not using my mind. I am using my heart, you are using your heart. So here we perfectly, fit in. Means you are offering your good thoughts, good will, good vibration. I am offering you my good will, good thought, good vibration. So here it is not the country. It is the acceptance of reality based on the heart and not on the mind. Because you are all heart and I am all heart, so no matter which country you come from, we perfectly fit in. Which we can easily exchange our thoughts, ideas, feelings, our inner capacities, awareness, realization without any difficulty. Because heart is oneness, and oneness is satisfaction, and satisfaction, perfection. So if it is a mind, mind is division. Only when the light enters into the mind from the heart, through the soul, from the soul through the heart, when the light enters into the mind from the soul through the heart, the mind is illumined. Before that is not. But the heart, the soul has a free access to the heart, and the heart also has the free access to the soul. So the heart is most of the time is illumined. So when we offer our hearts to each other, then we are perfectly safe and we fulfill each other in a divine way.
The golden flute, a sea of peace and joy and light, beyond my reach I know. In me the storm-tossed weeping night finds room to rage and flow. I cry aloud, but all in vain. I, helpless, the earth unkind, What soul of might can share my pain? Death dart alone I find. Raft am I on the sea of time, my oars are washed away. How can I hope to reach the clime of God's eternal day? But hark, I hear thy golden flute, its notes bring the summit down. Now safe am I, O Absolute. Gone death, gone night's stark frown.
Joy in infinite measure is the crown of spirituality. We have to see the difference between joy and pleasure. Life of pleasure and life of real joy are not the same thing. So you are saying joy, we use the term delight in a spiritual way, we use excessive delight. So the more delight we can feel in the depths of our heart, the higher we go and the deeper meaning of life we discover in our search for truth, for God. So joy right from the beginning. If I get joy while studying the alphabet, then I will continue. Whereas if I don't get joy, who wants to learn A after A, B? Why should it be B after A? It can be C. I start arguing with my mother. Then what can poor mother do? There ends my study. But just because I believe my mother happily that after A it is B and C and all, see, I learned the alphabet and how many books I studied eventually. So here also if I get little joy from a flower, from a tree, from the ocean, from the mountain, then I will be inspired to spend hours in my heart garden.
There is something called human love. Human love is to possess and be possessed. The divine love is to give and give and give and not to expect anything. Divine love is founded upon oneness. In human love, there is always expectation. I give you something, I expect something else from you. The divine love, it is unconditional. So, if you can love God unconditionally, then you will be pleased. But if there is condition, you can never be pleased. So, once you accept the spiritual life, we try to do everything for the betterment of humankind unconditionally. Otherwise, we shall blame the world. Oh, world, I have done so much for you. What have you done? Here, the divine love only will try to fulfill the world in God's own way. We pray and meditate, and from our prayer life, when we pray, we feel that we are talking to God. And when we meditate, we feel that God is talking to us. Now we two are here. At one point I am talking to you, and then again you speak to me. So here we pray, we meditate. When we pray, we look like this upward and we feel that God is listening to our prayer. And then when we meditate, we dive deep within and we feel that God is communicating with me. We believe in reincarnation. Here in this lifetime I am on earth for 75 years. These 75, either summer or winter, I have seen. But previously also I know on the strength of my higher experiences, you can call realization, that I embarked on the spiritual journey. I prayed, meditated. This is not my first incarnation that I am doing praying and meditating. Previously I did prayers and meditation. So in this incarnation, at the age of, say, let us say 13, I became fully aware of what I was, with regard to my aspiration, dedication and realization. So it has become quite easy for me because I practiced something hundreds of years ago. So now, if you want to have faith in yourself, first you have to feel what kind of connection or relationship you have established with your inner pilot. If it is the relationship of father and child, or mother and child, or lover and beloved, if it is the relationship of two most intimate, absolutely closest friends, then you can expect everything from God. But if you cannot establish that kind of sweet oneness between yourself and God, then how will you maintain any faith if you think He is very aloof, He is the Lord Supreme, and I am just a meaningless creature? Then there can be no feeling of oneness. If you think of yourself as a tiny ant and God is a huge elephant, naturally you will say, oh, how can I have any strength or capacity? I am so weak and insignificant. If you think of God as someone who is more than eager to give you what He has, then you will feel the strength that God has is all for me. When the time comes, He will offer it to me. When you have established that kind of feeling, when you feel that your Father is going to give you everything that you need, then automatically you will have abiding faith. God the love. There is no such being as God. There is no such being as God the tyrant. There is only one God, and that God is God the love. This God does not punish us. This God is constantly shaping us in His own way. It is He who is the doer. It is He who is the action. And it is He who is the enjoyer, both in the action and in the result. We feel that we are the doers and that if we do something wrong, God will punish us mercilessly. This is not so. It is God's dream that each individual has to manifest here on earth. It is in him. It is in each human being that God's reality lives. If I can always have a childlike confidence, then my Lord Supreme will without fail become my sleeplessly self-sacrificing friend. Because I am a truth seeker, the future flows towards me. Because I am a God lover, I live in the eternal now. The power of love. Love is a pure and radiant flame. When we follow the path of love, we find our spiritual life, our inner life, most fulfilling. Nothing can be greater than love. Love is life, and life itself is spontaneous nectar and delight. If love means possessing someone or something, then that is not real love. That is not pure love. If love means giving and becoming one with everything, with humanity and divinity, then that is real love. Real love is our total oneness with the object loved and with the possessor of love. Who is the possessor of love? God. Whom are you loving? We are loving the Supreme in each individual. We love, when we love the body, we bind ourselves. When we love the soul, we free ourselves. It is the soul in the individual, the Supreme in each human being that we have to love. You can consciously give pure love to others if you feel that you are giving a portion of your life breath when you talk to them or think of them.
This life breath you are offering just because you feel that you and the rest of the world are totally and inseparably one. Where, where there is oneness, it is all pure love. When the power of love replaces the love of power, man will have a new name, God. Our path is the path of love, devotion, and surrender. So if you love someone, then we know it is the wisdom that has dawned on us. Why do I love an individual? Why do I love you? Because wisdom has dawned in my aspiring consciousness that you and I are one. Our source is God. So then if I know you as a friend or as an individual who is all the time walking along eternity's road, then will I not serve you? I am walking with you in the street, along the road, and you need something, I'll come to help you. And when you need something, I come and help you. And when I need, you come and help. Along eternity's road, two sons are walking together. And when I need something, you give me. When you need something, I give you. So that is devotion. Means to a supreme cause, we are devoting ourselves. We are going towards the destination, ultimate destination. So we need each other. You need my help, I need your help. So I am devoting myself to you, to the Supreme, and you are devoting yourself to the Supreme in me. So this is devotion. Then while along walking, marching, or running along eternity's road, we feel the supreme necessity of surrender. Sometimes we feel that we are doomed to disappointment. Our speed is not satisfactory. We want to run the fastest, but we are unable to run. Then you offer the result soulfully.
We've talked a bit about the characteristics of a teacher. How about the characteristics of a student? What qualities do you look for in your students?
Sincerity is of paramount importance. Then comes determination. Then implicit faith in their spiritual acceptance of life, in their acceptance of spiritual life. If they are not sincere, then it is of no avail. They will not be able to go very far. Sometimes one is sincere, but he does not have the necessary determination to conquer his weaknesses. Suppose an individual commits something wrong repeatedly. He tells you, I've done this, I've done something wrong, but that does not help. He is better than someone who is a liar. But if I say, I have done this, something wrong, I have stolen, but it does not go very well. I have to have the determination not to steal once more. So this is determination comes into the picture. Today I am sincere, tomorrow I have to be fully determined not to make that, commit that Himalayan blunder in my life. Then comes the faith in me that I can be a chosen instrument of my beloved Supreme. Each individual is an instrument, either conscious instrument or unconscious instrument of God. Then the seeker has to feel that he is supremely chosen by the Absolute Supreme to become his instrument, him to please or him to manifest in his own way. So this is what I expect. These are the things I expect from my students. First, the student has to be extremely sincere. Then he has to be fully determined not to commit the same mistake over and over again. Then he has to have implicit faith in his life that his source is the Supreme and he is a chosen, supremely chosen instrument of the Supreme to manifest the Supreme on earth. So these three major qualities, if one has, then I gladly accept him as a student of mine. Determination, determination. My soul is determined to manifest God's supreme victory here on earth now. Determination. My heart is determined to love God the Creator unconditionally from this moment on until I breathe my last. Determination. My mind is determined to send my doubts, disbelief, and suspicion into an eternal exile. Determination. My vital is determined to transform my undivine, restless vital into a supreme peaceful and fruitful poise. Determination. My body is determined to liberate itself from its bondage, slavery, determination. My life is determined to serve God, the creation, at every moment in His own way. And I am determined to smash the pride of ignorance night once and for all. Determination. Enthusiasm feeds my determination, and this enthusiasm flood comes from the inner worlds. Compassion feeds my determination, and this compassion rain descends from the higher worlds. When my entire being is surcharged with adamantine determination, Mother Earth blessingfully says to me, my son, you have my divine joy, and you have my supreme pride. Again, when my entire being is surcharged with adamantine determination, Father Heaven blessingfully says to me, my son, Claim me as your own, very own. I am all yours. Determination, determination. Within, without, the cosmos wide am I. In joyful sweep, I loose forth and draw back all. A birthless, deathless spirit that moves and is still, ever abides within to hear my call. I who create on earth my joys and doles, to fulfill my matchless quest. In all my play, I veil my face of truth with golden hues, and I see the serpent night and python day. A consciousness bliss I feel in each breath. I am the self-amorous child of the sun. At will I break and build my symbol sheath, and freely enjoy the world's unshadowed fun.
What do you see as the spiritual mood of this planet right now, with all the recent events that have been happening in international affairs and national affairs and so many different cultures and societies opening up new doors to the future? What spiritual mood do you see on this planet right now?
Well, I strongly feel that the world is progressing. The world has a sincere hunger for peace. Sometimes we unfortunately enter into where we wage war and so forth, but in the very depths of our hearts, we are all longing for peace, a oneness home. So the future is quite bright, and I am an optimist. I always see the bright side of human life, because our source is God, and He is all light and all delight. So eventually we are going to our source, and it is through a life of peace, a oneness heart, that we can reach our source, which is infinite delight.
Where does the darkness come from?
Darkness comes from our division. You and I are one. Here you are talking heart to heart. Here I am not trying, even in my wildest dream, to see bad qualities in you. Only I am seeing your heart of compassion, vastness, love. You have genuine good feeling for me, and I also have the same. So, but instead of that, if I want to see something undivine in you, uninspiring, I can do. But that is only divide. I am only dividing myself from you. You are God's child, supremely chosen instrument of God. Here you are inspiring millions of people daily. And instead of that, you could have done something else, very uninspiring, undivine. So here I am seeing how you are serving. See, countless human beings with your aspiration. You want people to be good, people to be aspiring. So I am seeing all your good qualities, and I do hope you are also seeing good qualities. Otherwise, if you want to see bad qualities in each other, then there is that it is countless. But one good quality saves us: love. My love of you, I feel you are an excellent man, inspiring so many people every day. So you are also seeing the good quality in me. So when you use our mind, it is all division. When you use our hearts, it is all oneness. So if there is oneness, we don't see any darkness. Like a mother and a child. According to the mother, the child is always perfect. Only others will say, no, he's a very naughty boy. This, no, my child. Again, the same mother, son also, reciprocal. The son is all affection for the mother. And his mother cannot do anything wrong. My mother is all compassion, all affection, all concern for me. So it is based on love that we unite ourselves. And it is in the heart is our oneness. But this oneness we have to bring into our mind as well. Otherwise, we shall remain imperfect.
How do we bring that into our mind, that oneness, the love that you're talking about?
Yes, let us take the heart room as the room of illumination. An electrician has brought light, let us, into a particular room. Now the same electrician has the capacity to bring light into another room. So here the electrician is here the seeker. The seeker, by praying and meditating, he has brought light into his heart room. Now the same seeker will pray and meditate to bring light into his mind room, which he will do it eventually.
You said you're an optimist.
Yes.
You're hopeful for the future. Why?
Because our source is all illumination. If our source is all joy, all love, all compassion, how can we be otherwise? As we sow, so we reap. If the source is full of illumination, it is a matter of time for us to bring to the fore the dormant qualities. Right now, divine qualities are dormant in us, they are inherent, but a day will come by virtue of our prayer and meditation, feeling of oneness, we shall be able to inundate the world with peace and love.
I have, actually, it's a final question to bring us back to 1980 and the problems of the world. You're very close to these problems, working as you do at the United Nations with your meditation for peace sessions. And it's a difficult question, but it concerns your personal outlook for the prospects of peace and harmony in the world.
At the United Nations, we pray, we meditate. Just 2 days ago, we had a special meeting. We were honoring Dr. Martin Luther King. He is a civil rights champion. There is no race, only one race. There is only one reality. No white, no black, it is all one. So here, at the United Nations, nations fight. But who is actually fighting, or what is actually fighting? It is ignorance that is fighting, not wisdom. It is the wisdom that brought all the nations together at the United Nations, these 52 nations or all these. It is the inner wisdom that we have to live together. That's why the nations have all come to the United Nations, one family. But then, again, ignorance comes and starts fighting. Ignorance wants to lord it over us. My land, my country, I as an individual and all. So United Nations still embodies the hope of mankind. I, as an individual, have two realities, let us say. One is oneness reality, another is division reality. So, oneness reality brought me to the United Nations. Oneness reality brought you to the United Nations. Then all of a sudden, we are discovering in us another reality, division reality. You as an individual, I as an individual. Then we quarrel and fight. But you are awakened, I am awakened. That's why we came to one place. To some extent, we are awakened. So here, the nations are awakened to some extent, that's why they are put together. But again, they are not fully awakened, that's why they are fighting. So hope is that something good in us brought us together. And again, something in us, which is bad, is separating us. But we always, being seekers, I am a seeker, we always hope for the best because our source is all good. Our source, God, the author of all good, will not be failure. Far from it. He is omnipotent. Only He is exercising, or let us say, His compassion aspect. He is offering us, granting us His infinite compassion. You can call it forgiveness. I am doing something wrong, He is forgiving me. He is granting me His infinite compassion. But a day will come, either through His infinite compassion, He will illumine my mind, or with His justice light, He will compel me to overcome my weaknesses. So here the individual nations, some of the nations are doing horrible things, not doing the right thing, let us say. So either they will be illumined through his infinite compassion if they are aspiring in any way, and if they are not aspiring, then he will use his justice light, and then we shall see justice light will definitely compel them to remain either silent or to do the right thing. In the United Nations, the ambassadors and the representatives of nations are trying to bring about peace. That is their heart's desire, but the mind's desire is totally different. Supremacy. I as represent a nation, and my nation has to be superior to yours. So the two realities, mind reality is trying to show supremacy, heart reality is trying to show oneness. And where there is division, there can be no satisfaction. Where there is oneness, it is all satisfaction. There, about 100 members form a meditation group at the United Nations, and they come, members come, sometimes sometimes dignitaries and people of the highest rank come and pray and meditate. And they know that prayer is of supreme importance. Inwardly, as soon as they dive deep within, they love one another, they love. As soon as they come out, they forget their inner reality, they quarrel and fight. So ours, we pray and meditate, we try all the time to remember what we see within ourselves and what we feel within ourselves, and the realities that we see within, we try to bring to the fore, and all the time be aware of the realities which you have and which you are. Inside only one reality, and that is peace. Peace is love. If there is love, there is peace. If there is peace, then there is love. So this peace and love, through our prayer and meditation at the United Nations, we try to offer to all the nations, the members, the seekers.
Philosophy is very simple. Not what we say, not what we do, but what we ultimately become. What we ultimately become is of paramount importance. Not what we are doing many things wrong, most deplorable things we are doing. But today is not the ultimate answer. That is called future. Future is blossoming in the presence, in the heart of today. So today's world is full of conflicts, wrong ideas, destructive ideas, reign supreme, destructive thoughts reign supreme. But God has a very special plan. He is infinite in goodness and infinite in greatness, infinite is kindness. It is His creation. He will never allow His creation to be destroyed. A child, when she plays with a doll, if some people mischievous boys throw it away, she gets seriously mad because it is her creation. She has all love, all fondness for her doll. Similarly, we are all God's creation. He will not allow His creation to be destroyed. Never, never. But now we are going through for years we have been going through a very dark period. So sometimes we know that night, when the night is the thickest, then the bright dawn appears. So here we feel that right now the world situation is most deplorable. But this is not going to last for good. It is a matter of, I feel, as this seeker, God seeker and God lover, I feel that very soon, I'm not saying tomorrow or in a month or a year or two, but in the near future, the world will see the dawn of world history. In the near future, a new light will dawn and it will clear all the clouds that have thick clouds that have gathered together for years. So not what we are saying now, not what we are doing now, but what we ultimately become. We shall all ultimately become choice instruments of God. Our philosophy is hope. Hope is not kind of mental hallucination, but inside hope looms large promise. And then when we fulfill our promises, then we feel that our inner strength has done it, not the outer strength, weapons, destructive weapons, nuclear weapons, no. It is our heart's inner strength, strength of oneness. Oneness will one day conquer the man-made weapons, destructive weapons. But the strength of the heart, which is oneness, inseparable oneness with the whole world, that strength will definitely conquer the man's made strength. Oneness will be the conqueror of the whole world, oneness, inseparable oneness. And for that we need seekers. This oneness should not be a dictionary word, but it has to be a living presence, living reality inside our hearts.
If there were one thing everyone that you're touching today could do tomorrow to help that, what would that be?
Yes, we call it the tears of the heart, not the tears of the eyes. The tears of the eyes are fleeting. The tears of the heart, a cry, a most sincere cry for oneness. Political leaders always talk about oneness. This talk, division is we see in their actions, it is always division. But the same people talk about oneness, and oneness does not come, it will never come, by exercising supremacy. We exercise supremacy. I shall have to be one step ahead of you, then it is oneness. This is called oneness of the present day world. But real oneness is, we shall see it not only stand side by side, but we shall be inside the heart of one another. That is oneness. My feelings, good wills, everything, I shall transfer into your heart, and vice versa. You also will do the same. So oneness of the heart, oneness of the mind, it is a sheer joke. Oneness, when you talk about oneness with your minds, I feel that is nothing but joke. It is always, I shall have to be superior to you. I shall have to, by hook or by crook, I shall have to be superior to you. Then only it is oneness. This kind of oneness is no oneness. You and I should be on the same level, on the same footing, plus inside each other, inside your heart, I must feel the living presence of God's universal oneness, and you will also feel the same. Then only oneness will take birth here on earth, but it will definitely, oneness will blossom here in the soil of Mother Earth.
If you look over history, Does that ebb and flow? Has that ebbed and flowed? Is it cyclical? Is the fulfillment of that kind of an effort? Have we seen it before?
Who am I? It is only from a personal experience I can say, inner experience, but I am not an authority on that subject. Only I, from my inner experiences, I feel that before the First World War, or Second World War, even before the First World War, people didn't know, many countries, they're far off countries there. At that time there was no aeroplane to make the world close. It's a matter of hours. You can go from one end of the world to another. There's nothing. But there, that time, people who were living, they took the world as one. They had tremendous goodwill for the rest of the world. Outwardly they didn't know whether so many countries existed or not. They didn't know the names of like that. But they had a good feeling that we belong to one family, we belong to one God. See, this long before the First World War. But gradually we have lost. Now we are in the talking process. We only talk and talk and talk. So we hope that talking will one day grow into becoming. Now politicians all over the world, they are making the world one by exercising their supremacy. They say it's all, if you remain inferior to me, then you are perfect, I am perfect. But if I, being inferior, want to come up to your level, then you will crush me down. So this is what is happening. So from my own aspiring life, I've been aspiring for years and years. I feel deep within that this world of ours will not forever remain the same. Because being a seeker, I know there are many thousands and thousands upon thousands seekers like me on earth who are trying to have a new world of light and not a world of darkness, chaos and darkness. So our prayers, I strongly feel that will not end in vain. Why? Because the prayer that we do, the aspiring life that you have accepted, I feel it is come from God Himself. We have not created the aspiring life. No, God has inwardly inspired us to accept to pray for the oneness of the world. So this inspiration that we now have, I strongly feel and know that it has come directly from God. And God's will always prevail. Ultimately, God's will not surrender to any man-made whims or creation. So I have strong faith, very strong, like many countless people have strong faith in God, that God's will one day rule the world, and not like today, that some people who have the power, they are trying to dominate us. No. Now let us say darkness is predominant, but it is not going to be all the time. Then light, illumine, the power of light will definitely illumine the darkness. Darkness tries to devour light, but light never devours. Light only illumines the darkness. See at night how dark it is. Then the day dawns, then darkness disappears. Similarly, the inner light will one day illumine the outer darkness. This outer darkness is the song of division, division, division. So this outer darkness will one day be illumined by the inner light. The inner light is coming to the fore, and it's trying to illumine the outer darkness. The soul bird. O world ignorance, although you have shackled my feet, I am free. Although you have changed my hands, I am free. Although you have enslaved my body, I am free. I am free because I am not of the body. I am free because I am not the body. I am free because I am the soul bird that flies in infinity sky. I am the soul child that dreams on the lap of the immortal King Supreme.
I have a question now, which I'm sure is asked to you very often, concerning the doctrine of reincarnation. And I've read your writings on this subject, and I would like to, actually, I wrote down something that you wrote and would ask you for clarification on this. You wrote, unless and until we reveal and manifest the highest divinity within us, our game is not over. We have not finished our role in the cosmic drama. So we have to come back into the world again and again. In one of its incarnations, the soul will fully realize and manifest the divine. That's a beautiful thought. Could you elaborate on that?
You see, even in our ordinary life, we want to be fulfilled. Suppose I have accepted the desire life. There are two lives, desire life and aspiration life. In the desire life, what happens? We would like to have one house, then two houses, three houses, or one car, two cars, three cars. Or we want to get, first we want to complete our high school, then college, then university. That is not enough. Then we want to have more knowledge, more wisdom. No, but in order to complete this whole thing, we see that it requires time. Suppose in 10 years we want to complete it, we can't do it. We need 20 years or 30 years or 40 years to complete whatever. In the spiritual life also, when you start with aspiration, we try to get an iota of peace, an iota of love, iota of joy, iota of satisfaction. It is so difficult. Then when you get an iota, we are not satisfied. We like to have more, most, light, more light, abundant light, infinite light. And infinite has no bound. So in order to get this infinite light or infinite wisdom, infinite peace, we have to deal with time. Time is a great factor here. We can't achieve this in the twinkling of an eye, or overnight we cannot get it. So to get everything in life, we see the time as a great factor. In order to get your master's degree, you have studied 20, 25 years. Now if you wanted to get it, yes, when you were in the kindergarten, nobody would have granted you. So reincarnation is absolutely necessary if the seeker wants to do something, become something, grow into something. If you want to do something, means you have to do something. You have to become an instrument, or you have in every walk of life, somebody wants to achieve something, do something, and create something, manifest something on earth. So here you want to do something, and time comes right in front of you. If it comes in only fleeting seconds you can't achieve. But if it comes in, say, a few days, or a few weeks, or a few months, a few years, then you are able to accomplish. Not just because I have not done something today, because of short of time, I can't say that tomorrow I won't be able to do it. People here make a mistake that if I can't do something today, then forget about it, I'll never get it. I'll never be able to accomplish it. No, I'll be given chance again and again to accomplish it. First day I could not learn the alphabet. The ABC, I could not learn it, let us say in 10 minutes. But the second day or third day I learned it.
But if I had stopped learning because I could not learn it on the very first day, then I would not. But no, I will be given chance again the following day, and then I learn it. So reincarnation is a time factor. If you have not accomplished something, then you have to accomplish it. Now there is only one thing to accomplish, not many things. In the desire life, there are millions of things to be accomplished. But in the spiritual life, in the aspiration life, there is only one thing. When you think of reincarnation in a proper sense of the term, it is a spiritual reincarnation. It means a life of aspiration. God sends us into this art arena not only to make name and fame and to have earthly prosperity. Far from it. He sends us in order to realize, he sends us here to make us feel that we have a source. We came from infinity, and here on earth we have to carry the message of infinity. We came from immortality, here on earth we have to carry the message of immortality. We came from eternity, here we have to carry the message of eternity. Like that. So these messages we can't offer in one day. We can't be aware of these messages even in one incarnation. So we come again and again. This time we carry a few messages, most striking messages, and that is not enough. And then we go back, again we bring back more messages, most stunning, illuminating, and fulfilling messages. So reincarnation is absolutely necessary for the individual seeker. As in ordinary human life, it takes years to get the highest degree diploma, not in one day. Similarly, to realize God in full measure, it takes time, it can't be done. In order to get earthly knowledge, we spend years. And in order to get heavenly wisdom, we don't have to spend a few incarnations.
If I understand you correctly, then once perfection is realized and the divine is fully manifested through the human form, then reincarnation is over for that particular soul?
No, it is not over, far from it.
No?
Then it again depends on the supreme will. You become perfect. And again, there is no end to our perfection. We call it perfection and transcendence, self-transcendence. You become perfect. God is infinite. Again, his infinity is increasing, according to my inner vision, inner realization. God is eternal. Again, his eternity is increasing. He is infinite, is eternal. All the time, he is transcending himself. We call God is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, and everything. But his omniscience is increasing. His omnipotence is increasing. Everything is increasing. God is both static and dynamic. When he is dynamic, he is all the time creating himself. When he is static, he is eternal. He is the same, absolutely the same golden Purusha. But he is spreading his wings, let us say. So you can be an excellent player, let us say tennis player. When you started at the age of 6, you are not an excellent player. But over the years, you have become an excellent, perfect player, let us say. Then do you give up? You can give up if you want to. But no, you won't. You want to continue. So here also, you can be an excellent professor. You can give up. Well, now your goal, at your adolescent, your goal was to become an excellent professor. Now you have become excellent professor. Now you can give up. But again, if you say, no, I have to offer wisdom to my students. They need it badly. And also I am authorized, I am asked by my inner pilot to be of service to him in my students. Then you continue. But if the inner pilot says, no, my son, you have worked very hard, now you can take rest, now I will have somebody else to do your job, let him become the professor, let him illumine the students. It entirely depends on his will. We can't say that if we have become perfect in one thing, that our role is over. The only thing is that role can be over if he wants to. Otherwise, there is no hard and fast rule that you have to give up once you are perfect. No, perfection has no limit. We are in the process of eternal perfection. We are transcending ourselves, ascending all the time. While you are ascending, we are transcending our capacities. So today's perfection need not be and cannot be tomorrow's perfection. Perfection is, after all, satisfaction. When you were a little boy, you wanted to complete your kindergarten course. That was your satisfaction and perfection. If you complete it, you are satisfied and you are perfect, you thought. Then you thought that no, your primary school, high school and all that. So each time we attain to some satisfaction, we call it perfection. And again we see that that perfection is no perfection at all, precisely because there are higher perfections in life. In God's case, He has everything, He is everything. In spite of that, He continuously goes on, expanding Himself. It means He's giving Himself very constantly, because His message is self-transcendence. So perfection is a continuous movement. It is not something static.
I recall in one of your writings you mentioned that death might not be necessary in the future, or words to that effect, that the phenomenon of continually dying and being reborn may at some time in the future be no longer a necessary aspect of nature. Is that
It's
correct?
absolutely true. I feel that death is only a sleep. You can call it temporary sleep. Some people sleep for 12 hours. Some people again sleep, say 9, 10, while others sleep 2 hours. Some people even may not sleep. They don't continue. Without sleeping also they can continue. So here on earth also we are unconsciously, let us say, enjoying the ignorance sleep. Sleep is ignorance sleep. Now if there is a direct passage between earth and heaven, between heaven, which is this eternal life, immortal life, touches the earth arena, and then it completes a circle. While it is completing a circle, some seekers on earth, some individuals, or let us all individuals, are tired. Tired, they want to take rest. Then what happens? If somebody wants to take rest because he is tired, then you take rest. Then again he comes up, again he joins in this, he starts walking along eternity's road. Now, at this stage of evolution, death is absolutely necessary. We are tired, we are exhausted, and how many times earthly miseries compel us to pray to God. Oh God, take us, even when we are not tired. We are tired, we are exhausted, we are disappointed, we are doomed to disappointment, like this happens. But a day will come when our inner illumination will illumine our entire being. And each experience that we get on earth will not be an experience of failure. It will be an experience of fulfillment. At that time, there will be no death, for it is eternal life. It is the eternal life that is playing here on earth and in heaven. Now earthly experiences are separating us from the heavenly experiences. At that time, there will be only one experience. Now, as soon as you think of God, either inside or above. We don't see Him here. We are praying, we try to see Him here, or we are trying to see Him above. Two realities, either inside my heart or above my head or something. But at that time, no. At that time, what will happen? Here, I look at it, you are God. I look at this floor, it is God. I look at this wall, it is God. That kind. So when you have that experience, there is no heaven. There is no earth. It is all one. Now we say heaven where we have more confidence in God's presence. More faith in God's presence, immediately call it heaven. And it is hell or earth, here you don't feel the presence of God. You will feel the presence of God in heaven. So when you see God here, there, everywhere, in each individual, in each thing, then you don't need death. Because He is everywhere, He is all life. Now we are not aware of the all-pervading life. Life is now broken here. Here is one life, there is another life. That life we call eternal, here this life we'll call earthly life, fleeting life. But a day will come when we are inwardly mature and fully awakened, fully realized. We'll see that there is only one life, that immortal life, eternal life. It is like a flow of the Ganges from the topmost Himalayas. It came down, it's flowing and flowing. So from heaven, the same flow is flowing.
When will that happen?
When you are ready, when I am ready, when we are ready. But it is bound to happen. Only the readiness of Mother Earth is of supreme need.
And would this physical realm continue, or is this a purely spiritual existence that you're envisioning?
No, it will be, the physical will be there, but may not be the same kind. The physical will have heart and all that, but the shape may not be the same shape, same form. But the physical as reality, we can't deny. Only it will be an illumined reality. Now the body goes to all kinds of, undergoes weaknesses, diseases, and all so forth. Body is far from perfection. Body has all kinds of ailments. At that time, there will be no ailments as such. It is divinity will permeate and percolate our entire being to such an extent that there will be no disease, no weakness, no darkness. It is all light. Our entire being will be flooded with delight. So entire being naturally encompasses our physical earthly frame. The absolute. No mind, no form, I only exist. Now ceased all will, now ceased all will and thought. The final end of nature's dance, I am it whom I have sought. A realm of bliss bare, ultimate, beyond both known and known. A rest immense and joy at last, I face the one alone. I have crossed the secret waves of life, I have become the goal. The truth immutable is revealed. I am the way, the God's soul. My spirit aware of all the heights, I am mute in the core of the sun. I butter nothing with time and deeds. My cosmic play is done. When we are on the verge of realization, it is like we become the dawn and we face the morning sun. We prepare ourselves on the strength of our prayers, meditations, and dedication and self-giving. So when you are on the verge of realization, we see the dawn is breaking and the light is spreading allwhere and the sun is rising, the morning sun. It is step by step, and or you can say everything goes together. When you face the sun, we do not say this is the sun. When the light comes, when the darkness of the night disappears, we feel that we see the light around us. Exactly the same way, when the inner sun bursts forth or the inner sun is rising, we can easily see, not only feel, we can easily see the inner sun rising. Each individual has an inner sun, and greatly advanced souls have more than one. They have 15, 16, 20 like that. But each individual is bound to have an inner sun as the way we see the outer sun, the planet. When the inner sun is blossoming, say like a lotus, petal by petal, we can see it, and we see that our illumination is fast dawning. One achieves God realization through meditation and prayer, and a God-realized person is he who has established a free access to the inner pilot within him. If God realization takes place, then one becomes part and parcel of the universe. Universal consciousness is revealed. So how will I have a concept? People who have not seen God, then they will say that we have not seen God, then why should we think of God? If we see someone, then it is easier for us to think of him. Even if he's from a distant place, think of him, or to send our goodwill, love, affection and all that. But we are taught from the very beginning, the soul has taught, our parents taught that God exists. And who is God? God is all kindness, God is all affection, God is all the divine qualities that we have. Again, this is how we take of God. But if you say that we have no concept of God,
if we say that since we don't have any idea of God realization, why to bother over? Then do you have any idea of God? God and God realization, it is like part and parcel flower and the fragrance. If God is the fragrance, then God realization is the flower. If God realizes the flower, then God is the fragrance. That way we have to take. So if we say that we have no idea of God realization, then how can you pray and meditate? And I will say, have you any idea of God? It is only mental conception. People have told, we read in the book, God is a nice person, we are infinitely better than us. That's why we try to emulate, we try to have the good qualities that God has and God is. Similarly, God realization is something we have to know. When you have God realized, at that time universal consciousness becomes yours. What is happening in the universe, you can know if you want to. If you don't want to know, then millions and billions of things you can do if you want to. Nearly thousands of things a God realized person does, but a human being cannot do it. Before God realization, when I used to do perhaps 5 or 6 things. Once I became aware, there is not a single day in all that I don't do thousands of things in inner world. And there will be spiritual masters who have realized God, they also do it. They do millions of things because again they do not use their mind. They do not use the mind. With our mind you can do only one thing, then go to the next. Mind can work very fast, 1, 2, 3 like that. But mind cannot do 2 things at the same time. But when you have God realized, when you realize God, then you can do many, many things. Now the question is, just because I don't know, I have no idea of God realization, it is impossible for me to think of a subject. But now, then is there, before you learn any subject, you have no idea what the subject will be like. So God realization is also like that. When you say God realization is not something mental hallucination or it is something vague. Only if you read book, then you know that what God realization is. God realization is oneness with God's will. God realization, not my will. Now how will I know what God's will is? That is why we enter into spiritual life.
A child has a few pieces of candies, 10, 15 or 20, and we are all in front of the child and begging the child to share with us the child's candies. The child is not in the mood to share with us, and the child is moving around. All of a sudden, by that, the child comes and gives the candies. He is ready to give the child 10 pieces of candies to one individual and not even one to another individual. Now what are you going to do? The child does not believe in equality or anything. The child looks at the face and something in the child happens. And the child will come and give you 1, 2, 3, 4 and pour me. The child will not look at me, will not give me a piece of candy. So this spontaneous feeling of the child. Similarly, God also does the same. If you say, oh, if you pray and meditate, for Indians, according to Indian system, for 12 years, if you pray and meditate 8 hours a day, then you realize God. There are many, many, many who have prayed for 8 hours a day for 12 years. And even in my own family, if I have to be frank, my eldest brother, he prayed and meditated for years and years and years, 8 hours a day, much more than 8 hours a day. Then again, God did not pursue. God knows. When did I do 8 hours of meditation? Perhaps I did, but not like him. For years and years and years. So here is an example. In my family, there are quite a few who prayed much more than I did. And perhaps they will not say that they have realized God. Here I brag that I have realized God. So we don't know why and how, when God will give realization of God, like a child. Child gives. Here we are all begging the child to give us the candy, but piece of candy, he doesn't give. And again, somebody is perhaps not paying even any attention. Whether the child gives or not, the child will go and give to that person.
So, God alone knows there is no hard and fast rule that if you meditate for a longer time, one will get. Oh no, it is not like that. Again, if you say somebody's meditation prayer is very sincere, meditation is very deep, then again who gave that intensity? God. We cannot create intensity on the strength of our own volition. No, God gives. So we have to ask God, why has He chosen someone in the family, one person, and not others who definitely have prayed and meditated more than that person. Nobody can give an adequate reason. Only philosophically you can say, spiritually you can say, oh, his prayer was sincere. Even though he did not pray for a long time, but then who gave him that sincerity or intensity? Again you come back to God. So God remains the eternal question, at the same time He becomes the God. God becomes the constant answer. Eternal question and constant answer is God. With a blank sorrow, heavy I'm now grown, like things eternal, changeless stands my woe. In vain I try to overcome my foe. O Lord of love, make me more dead than stone. Thy grace of silent smile I never feel. The forger of evil stamps my nights and days. His call my sleepless body ever obeys. My heart I annihilate and try to heal. The dumb earth waste now burns a hell to my soul. I fail to fight with this stupendous doom. My breath is a slave of that unending gloom. For light I pine, but find a tenebrous goal. Smoke clouds cover my face of spirit's fire. Naked I move in night's ignorance deep and dire. Spirituality and running are the obverse and the reverse of the same coin. Spirituality is like flower, the beauty of the flower, and spirituality and outer running is like the beauty of the flower and the fragrance of the same flower. Spirituality inspires us to go forward, to transcend ourselves. So here also people are running 6 days, 10 days, then 31 days. We are trying to transcend ourselves. So spirituality always tells us go beyond, go beyond, go beyond, go beyond. Today's achievement is not the final goal. We have to go forward and dive deep within and fly high. As in our outer life, in the material world, we try to increase material wealth, money and prosperity and so forth. Here in the inner life, we try to have peace, more peace, abundant peace, infinite peace. We try. In the outer world, we try to possess. In the inner world, we try to surrender to God's will. Let His will be done in and through us. So now He has given us an iota of peace, and He wants us to pray and meditate, and so that we can acquire more peace, abundant and infinite peace. The same way, the outer running helps us. First of all, it helps us keep our body fit, in perfect condition. So physical fitness is of paramount importance in every walk of life. If you are not physically fit, then we invite ailments, and then we can achieve nothing in all our aspirations or desires remain unfulfilled. So when you pray and meditate, we try to inspire
our outer life. The outer life is full of lethargy and energy. But inner life, there is an inner dynamo. So if we can have an access to our inner dynamo, then we can expedite the speed of we can expedite our outer journey. Because we are not satisfied with what we have and what we are. So in life, always we try to have improvement of life. So this outer running, they know what their capacities were previously. Now, this time they are running and they are trying to improve, they are trying to better their mileage. So that's, again, satisfaction comes only when we see that there is progress. Otherwise, if there is no progress, then we feel sad, miserable, then we feel that our life is ending.
Fountain art.
Yes.
Because like fountain is spontaneous, so in my case also, when I draw something, there it is, I do not know what I'm going, I follow a streak of light. As soon as I start painting or drawing, I see something is guiding my hand, guiding my fingers. So that is why it was possible for me to paint thousands of it.
What is guiding your fingers?
It's again the source, my prayer life from here inside, I feel somebody is guiding I call my inner pilot. A few years ago, a television crew came and they saw me, my house, how fast I was doing, and as here also, I don't have any training. It's amateur. Whatever comes from within, I do it. I'm a student of the inner school. Inner school, there I get only inspiration, not information. In the outer school, we get, most of the time we get information. But in the inner school, we get inspiration and aspiration. There, we don't use the mind. On the contrary, we unlearn. In outer school, we learn so many things. So many things we learn in outer school. It feeds our mind. And then, quite often, we misuse the things that we learn with our mind, or inside the mind things that we learn. But when we learn in our inner school, everything is positive. It is not destructive.
Is this within everyone?
It is everybody. Spirituality is not the sole monopoly of any individual. We are all God's children. Only it is up to us whether we want to become good citizens of the world, whether we want to destroy the world, or we want to love the world, build the world, and make and transform
I'd like
the
to
world.
talk about athletics for just a moment. Now, you are in the Guinness Book of World Records, and you are a world record holder in weightlifting. You have lifted over 7,000 pounds, as I understand it, with
Yes,
one hand, one arm.
Twice I did it, once with my right hand and once with my left hand. I did it.
How did you do it? That's a lot of weight, 7,000 pounds for Chinmoy.
Again, it is all, as I said before, it is all God's grace. If we pray to God, then whatever He wants to do in and through us, my own body weight, I have lifted 100 times. And tomorrow, our philosophy is the philosophy of self-transcendence. We do not compete with anybody. We compete only with ourselves. If I'm a good person, I try to become a better person. If I'm better, then I try to become a best person, but not by competing with others. Only I know my own limitations. Yesterday, I know how much limitation I had, weaknesses. Today, I try to minimize it. Tomorrow, I will try to diminish it completely. See, tomorrow, I will do something in my weightlifting world. About 2 years ago, I lifted my body weight. At that time, my body weight was 156 pounds, and I lifted it 100 times, and in front of the international judge. The same judge will come tomorrow to examine me, and I will try to better my timing. Yes, previously it was 23 minutes, and tomorrow I will try to do it in 15 minutes. So it's self-transcendence. I compete with myself. This is how we are trying to improve not only the physical, but the mind, the heart, and everything that we have and we are.
Why is it important to work on the physical strength as well as the spiritual?
Physical strength is if you are physically strong. I'm not saying I have to be the world's strongest man. Far from it. I don't want to be world's greatest boxer or wrestler. No, but if we have strength, some physical strength, not to fight, no, then our mind gets some nourishment. Our vital gets nourishment. This is something we are using for the right purpose. If I'm very weak, if physically weak, mentally weak, then I can, every morning I will get up and I'll have headache, stomach upset, and so many things, then it will torture. But if I'm physically fit, here physical strength is physical fitness. If I'm physically fit, then early in the morning I'll be able to pray and meditate and do the needful. That is why we give so much importance to physical fitness. While we are physically fit, and if strength comes from physical fitness, I feel it is quite acceptable.
About perfection in this case, you began weightlifting only a couple of years ago.
About 3 years ago.
3 years ago. You were, what, 54 at the time?
At that time.
Yeah, and now in this video, which we did just a little earlier, so that we would have it ready and you could talk to us while we're seeing it, you're actually, while lifting, more than you weigh. Your body weight is 155.
Yes. My body weight was to the 54.5, and here it is over 155.
And so this is now lifting more than your body weight is. And you've lifted as much as over 7,000 pounds with one arm. Usually you do it with the right arm, and I know here you're doing it with the left. Why?
I'm so happy. No, I did with my right arm. Unfortunately, it didn't come out. But here, so left one is successful. But I'm very happy that for the first time, here I have done with my left hand. This is my first attempt here at the studio. I'm very grateful.
This is the first time on TV?
First time on TV.
I'm glad you chose here to do it. But to you, weightlifting is important, not in and of itself, though. I mean, you're not looking just to set world records as a weightlifter.
Oh, no, far from it. Only I'm trying to, increase my capacity, outer and inner. I compete with myself. I never compete with anybody else.
Right.
And if I have good qualities, I try to increase. And if I have bad qualities, I try to decrease. This is the thing. When we are in desire life, we try to minimize our desire life, and when we are in our aspirational life, prayer life, we try to increase. All the good, we have good qualities and bad qualities as well. Yeah. We try to increase our good qualities by disciplining our lives, and then decrease our good qualities again by disciplining our lives. So discipline is of paramount importance.
That's really the goal. You weren't looking to be a professional weightlifter.
Far from it. Only I'm trying to be a good citizen of the world, a good citizen. I am trying to become a good instrument of my Lord Supreme.
Makes sense, but it is a little unusual in any event to start weightlifting at the age of 54. Well, a lot of people, by the time I'm 54, I hope to think about retiring.
I hope to think about retiring a lot before 54.
But you're more active at your age than most people are who are 20 and 30 years younger.
Our prayer life has taught us that we are all children of God. So if we think and feel that we are children of God, then there is no such thing as this age barrier, whether I'm 56 years old. But again, I don't feel like 56. There will be again some human beings will be 20, but they feel they're like octogenarian, they can't move.
Yes.
Age is a state of mind.
It's a state of mind. Yeah. The mind makes you feel you are weak, you are useless. Again, the same mind can say, no, you are strong, you can achieve quite a few things.
It is true. It's almost like an intense form of positive thinking. Yes. And it's so true, especially for the people viewing the show right now. We are so inclined to be terribly negative. Yes. We can easily worry, be despair, be depressed. If you say to somebody, well, what's bothering you? Pull yourself out of it. I can't. I can't. You know, I'm down and I can't pull myself out of it. And I think it's all right to have those feelings, but I think we also should recognize, as you say, that we can pull ourselves out of distressful or despairing times.
I think the mass media doesn't help either, frankly.
No.
It puts such an emphasis on so-called youth that when somebody gets a little older, they say, oh, I can't do that, I'm too old.
True.
And that's a bad way
There's also the emphasis on negativity. I mean, as this winter approaches, when you get that winter cold this year, take this medication.
So they're already setting us up to get the cold. You don't get that, fortunately, too often, huh?
I don't get it.
Colds and flus, huh?
No, fortunately, I don't get it. Because as you said, disciplined life always helps us, it protects us. If we are in the world of discipline throughout the year, then we can fight against cold and heat and so forth. Because inner strength, when the inner strength comes to the fore, we can accept the outer challenges very easily.
Well, you I know this is part of the physical body when you're lifting weights, but something must be going on inside the mind when that's happening. What is going on inside you when you're doing that physical act? We see the physical result of it, but what is going on inside you mentally?
Mentally, I do not allow any thought whatsoever to enter into my mind. I keep my mind absolutely calm, quiet, and tranquil. No thought can enter into my mind while I am lifting. Because if they are good thoughts, I may be carried away. And if they're bad thoughts, they'll lower my consciousness and weaken me. Here, this is not the time for me to indulge in good thoughts or bad thoughts. Here is only my goal. I, as a seeker, I'm trying to reach my goal. So between my goal and my effort, there should be nothing, nobody. Only here I am and my goal is here. So I have to climb up the Himalayas. I'm now at the foot of the Himalayas, but I would like to climb up the Himalayas. I do not want to be, there should be nothing to interfere. I will not allow anything to intervene. I will, as a traveler, and I'll climb up the mountain.
I cannot understand how you are able to train for 3 hours, doing all you do.
In my case, when I don't do, even if I don't take, say, 2 exercises on that machine, then I feel mentally weak. If I do not take all the exercises that are in my schedule, I feel mentally uncomfortable. And if I don't do it for 2 or 3 days, then I really feel miserable. It's like it becomes something.
I can understand that.
But again, I'm doing too much.
Well, I'm inclined to say yes, you are doing far too much. But the mere fact that you do it throws all my own standards out the window.
Again, if I do not do, mentally I become weak, and then I cannot do. Sometimes you are absolutely right. When I go out on vacation, Christmas vacation, and then I do not get all the facilities, quite a few things I could not do. And when I come back and I don't suffer, I can lift up higher weights. But the question is, on a regular basis, when I'm here in New York, if I do not practice regularly, if I don't do all the exercises, then I feel sad. Following day, sadness is not the important thing. Mentally, I feel a kind of mental barrier I face, following as if I'm starting from the very beginning.
Yeah, I to all my competing life is that while there has been somebody on this earth at my body weight who's lifted more than me, then I have felt there was a goal for me to try and achieve.
I said, in my case, since it is 100%, I depend on the grace from above. So I take at least 3 minutes or more for each lift. I do it, and then I pray, meditate, concentrate. When I feel that I'm inwardly energized, I try to do it. Before that, I do not do it. So here also, I do not listen to that well-established theory. I do it as soon as possible. Many things I have done, which my physical mind. I am one of those who are. I fully agree with you. When I use my mind, fully agree with you. But when I lose my mind, or when I try to go beyond the mind, then these barriers that the mind creates, that you have to go from 1 to 2. Is that why to go to 1 to 2 if there is something called grace? Why not from 1 to 10? And fortunately I have succeeded from 170 to 200. and from 155 went to 170, from 270 to 200, and 250 also within an inch or so. But it took me a month or so. I was disappointed. Otherwise, 250 I would have been successful. If I do now 250, I will have to do. But I started in between. There was no 210 when I did it to know my present capacity. Otherwise, after 200, I went to 250, and I was almost successful, but not fully successful. Except running, I was a sprinter. Then I became a runner. I became a marathon runner. Sprinters don't run long distances, but I gave up sprinting. Then I entered into marathon, long distance runner, over 26 miles. I did it about 22 times. So now I cannot run, but I can do lifting, sprinting, then running long distances. Now I am doing weightlifting. So God, the author of all good, gave me the capacity to be a good sprinter. Then he gave me the capacity to be a long distance runner. Now again, the same person is giving me the capacity, inspiration, and encouragement to do heavy lifting. So in that case, each subject, when I study each subject, I get inspiration, aspiration, and inner joy to do it well. As the physical and the earthly age descends upon me, I am becoming stronger. 2 years ago, I did things, to my great satisfaction. Now I have far surpassed them. As I can say, 2 years ago, I did this called seated calf lift. I did 1900. Now this time I did 13. Now this time I have done 15, 200 pounds more. Like that in every item. Then when I did 800, now I did 1100. Standing, I did 20, now 21, now I did 24. In almost all the events that I took part 2 years ago, I have surpassed. So in that case, I must say I have strengthened my capacity, I have increased my capacity. It is not decreasing. 4 years ago, 6 years ago, when I was younger, let us say, I could not have imagined to lift such heavy weights. Many things have done. So here, the key is to live in the heart. If I can live in the heart, then I do not have to worry. A child, he does not think of his age. He runs here and there, and he has got inexhaustible energy. So in my case also, I feel stronger year by year. What I could not do 10 years, 12 years ago, now I am doing quite easily to my great satisfaction. And sports, we feel physical fitness is of paramount importance. If you are physically fit, then we shall be able to work most diligently. If you are physically unfit, then you cannot accomplish anything. So physical fitness is of paramount importance, and sports definitely can help promote peace, because sports gives us joy. We compete with others, although there is rivalry, but we get joy from running, jumping, and doing other activities. Let us say Olympics. All the countries are meeting together. They show their capacities. And then somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. So the one who loses, prepares himself again for the next Olympic. Sports, it gives us the feeling of children. Children are always happy. They are all the time running and jumping and all. So sports can definitely help us to bring about world peace. Happiness, happiness. If there is happiness, then there is peace. If there is peace, then there is happiness. Peace and happiness go together. We do not have even an iota of peace. That's why we are unhappy. And because we are unhappy, we speak ill of others, we try to punish others, we try to destroy others. But if you have peace of mind, if you have peace deep within us, we accept the whole world as our own, very own.
Here, I do believe that you were originally invited to come here by the veteran athletes for their 7th World Championships.
Right.
What was your participation in that, sir?
I was in the opening ceremony. I offered my prayers for world peace, and I gave a very short speech.
I think we have some videotape of that opening ceremony. Maybe you'd like to explain. This is, of course, your prayer.
Yes. Here I was praying for the world peace, and I'm extremely grateful to Australia for planting in a hard garden a beautiful peace tree, world peace, oneness world peace tree.
It's lovely. It's nice to see so many of the veteran athletes from all over the world come to Melbourne to be part of this. It must have been quite thrilling for you.
Right. People must not think of their age. They can only think of the spirit, inner spirit, indomitable spirit.
You've kind of proven that yourself, haven't you, really?
I'm trying.
You spent some 20 years under spiritual guidance, learning your spiritual
how to pray and meditate.
Right?
Yes.
But at the same time, you also got involved in athletics, which I find quite interesting. That's unusual, isn't it?
It is absolutely necessary. The physical fitness is of paramount importance. If you are physically fit, then you will be able to pray and meditate regularly, and then we shall have both inner power and outer strength. They must go together in order to be a perfect human being.
One complements the other, in other words. You've been quoted as saying your spiritual inside helps you with your physical outside.
Absolutely. It is the inner power that has to come to the fore and then offer services to mankind.
You will forgive me, Chinmoy, if I say to you, you are not a physically big man, and yet you, with one hand, was able to raise 7,000 odd pounds in weight.
Right.
Now that's an enormous feat.
I entirely depend on God's grace. It is not my physical capacity. It is, but God's grace can do the impossible very easily.
There we have, but that's well in excess of 7,000 pounds weight you're lifting there with one hand.
Here I was lifting up in my body weight, which is with one hand. Yesterday at the studio, 73.5 was the actual weight, and my body weight was 70.5 kilos. So a little 6 pounds more than my body weight.
That's amazing, absolutely amazing. But we shouldn't give the folk at home the impression that these are only the things you do. You also concentrate a great deal of your life on music.
Yes.
I'd like to talk about athletics for just a moment. Now, you are in the Guinness Book of World Records, and you are a world record holder in weightlifting. You have lifted over 7,000 pounds, as I understand it, with one hand, one arm.
Twice I did it, once with my right hand and once with my left hand. I did it.
How did you do it? That's a lot of weight, 7,000 pounds, Sri Chinmoy.
Again, it is all, as I said before, it is all God's grace. If we pray to God, then whatever He wants to do in and through us, you know, my own body weight, I have lifted 100 times. And tomorrow, our philosophy is the philosophy of self-transcendence. We do not compete with anybody. We compete only with ourselves. If I'm a good person, I try to become a better person. If I'm better, then I try to become a best person, but not by competing with others. Only I know my own limitations. Yesterday, I know how much limitation I had, weaknesses. Today, I try to minimize it. Tomorrow, I will try to make it, diminish it completely. see, tomorrow I'll do something in my weightlifting world. About 2 years ago, I lifted my body weight. At that time, my body weight was 156 pounds, and I lifted it 100 times, and in front of the international judge. The same judge will come tomorrow to examine me, and I will try to better my timing. Yes, previously it was 23 minutes, and tomorrow I will try to do it in 15 minutes. So it's self-transcendence. I compete with myself. This is how we are trying to improve not only the physical, but the mind, the heart, and everything that we have and we are.
Why is it important to work on the physical strength as well as the spiritual?
Physical strength is if you are physically strong. I'm not saying I have to be the world's strongest man. Far from it. I don't want to be world's greatest boxer or wrestler. No, but if we have strength, some physical strength, not to fight, no, then our mind gets some nourishment. Our vital gets nourishment. This is something we are using for the right purpose. If I'm very weak, if physically weak, mentally weak, then I can, every morning I will get up and I'll have headache, stomach upset, and so many things, then it will torture. But if I'm physically fit, here physical strength is physical fitness. If I'm physically fit, then early in the morning I'll be able to pray and meditate and do the needful. That is why we give so much importance to physical fitness. While we are physically fit, and if strength comes from physical fitness, I feel it is quite acceptable.
When you do things like tonight having a concert, or with your artwork, or even with the weightlifting, what is there an overriding purpose, an overriding message behind everything that you do that is?
There is only one message. God wants me to inspire people in each and every walk of life. According to my very limited capacity, He is trying to inspire humanity. So when I play music, when I sing, when I do artwork or weightlifting, I have the same message. Only I would like to be of service to God, the creation. He is God the creator, He is God the creation. You are God the creation, I am also God the creation. So God the creator wants me to be of service to Him, to God the creation in each and every human being. First of all, I meet with world luminaries, these important people. As you know, they are known as great politicians, supreme politicians. But I am not a politician. Politics is not my forte. I go to them as a student of peace, and I feel deep within they are also longing for world peace. So I go there as a student of peace, and they're so kind to receive me as a student of peace. Here we are aiming at peace, and we never discuss world politics, because he knows I do not know even the ABC of world politics. But they have a genuine hunger for world peace, as I have. So we talk about world peace. There is no world politics involved. Now, when I lift heavy weights and I pray and meditate, what is the link between the two? There is a very close link. The physical and the spiritual must go together. Inside the body, we believe in soul. Inside our inner existence, we feel the presence of God. We need a church, and inside the church is the altar. I am an Indian. For us, we call it a temple. Inside the temple, there is shrine. If there is no temple, there can be no shrine. If there is no church, there can be no altar. So both are interdependent. They need each other. The church needs the altar needs the church. So here the physical and the spiritual must go together. The spiritual is inside. So the spiritual has to come to the fore to be of inspiration and and guidance to the outer. So I try to keep them together. They depend on each other. The physical and the spiritual, like the church and the altar, like the shrine and the temple, they must go together. If there is a church and there is no altar inside, people laugh at it. Then where are you going to keep the altar in the street? No, they have to be inside the church. Therefore, I give due importance to the physical and the spiritual at the same time.
Do you follow any particular diet?
No, well, I am a strict vegetarian, and my students are all strict vegetarian.
Why vegetarianism?
We know deep within us there are animal qualities. We quarrel, we fight, we are jealous of others, and we do many things undivine. Now, when you look at an animal, we see these are the animal qualities and propensities we see around us. But if we eat meat, then the qualities of the animal world enter into us. Whereas if we eat vegetables, then the mild qualities of the vegetable kingdom enters into us. So we are trying to have a quiet, mild life. Therefore, it is advisable to be vegetarian if one wants to expedite the spiritual progress.
Gurudev, it is obvious to you that there are scientists out there, I'm sure, who hear you say that if one eats meat, one acquires the mentality of the animal.
One becomes restless. That's all. Now here we're trying desperately to become calm and quiet and tranquil, so it will not serve our purpose.
How do you respond to the skeptical scientist, though, who says, how can you prove this?
Spirituality is not something to prove. And if I know what I am doing satisfies me, I do not have to budge an inch to prove to you or anybody. The very fact that I am enjoying what I am supposed to enjoy. So here, by proving to others, what do we gain? We just enter into the world of confusion and contradiction. Whereas if I know that I am enjoying nectar, divine bliss, let the whole world criticize me or disbelieve me, I will not pay any attention to it. For if I know what my goal is, and if I am in my goal, let the world tell me that I have not come even to the starting point. I shall not mind.
Do you follow any particular diet?
I'm a strict vegetarian from the age of 12. Until the age of 12, I used to eat meat, fish, and so forth, and being a
Not at all now?
Oh no, now I don't, from the age of 12. At the age of 12, I entered into a spiritual community in South India, and there meat and fish are forbidden. So now, since then, my students also, I have disciples all over the world, they do not take meat and fish, because meat, fish, they make us restless. They aggravate our consciousness. Our spiritual life needs poise, peace, and calmness, tranquility.
I must break here. That's the only reason I'm interrupting. But obviously, that precludes dumb things like drugs and alcohol and.
I'm getting calmer as I talk to you.
I know it's beautiful when you're with him. It's
anything that stimulates us is forbidden.
I've seen you in concert, and we've talked many times, and I've learned a lot from you. The one thing I have not done is I have not gotten to the restaurant. You have the restaurant in Queens?
Yes, in Queens. Food is God.
Yeah, well, I hear a lot about it. What does that mean? Food is God?
Food is God.
Yeah, it's vegetarian.
Vegetarian, strict.
Yeah, which you are, of course.
Yes, I have been a strict vegetarian for the last 46 years.
I should have mentioned that you are now, what, 58?
58. So at the age of 12, I gave up meat, fish, and so forth.
As a boy in India?
As a boy.
And never ate again?
The pilgrims of the Lord Supreme. We are the pilgrims of the Lord Supreme on the path of infinity. At this time we have broken asunder abstraction's door. We have broken asunder the night of tenebrous darkness in conscience, and the eternal, indomitable fear of death, the boat of the supernal light's dawn is beckoning us, and the world pilot of the hallowed bond of love divine is beckoning us. The liberated sands are drawing us to the ocean of the great unknown, having conquered the life breath of the land of immortality and carrying aloft the banner of the Lord Supreme. We shall return with the drops and flames of transformation light. Meditation is a very, very simple subject, if you call it a subject. We try to silence our mind. Here, at every moment, we are at the mercy of thoughts. Sometimes it is good thought. Most of the time, thoughts are uncomely, uninspiring. But when we meditate, we silence our mind. And once we can silence our mind, we feel we inside our mind soulful thoughts, inspiring thoughts, illuminating thoughts, and fulfilling thoughts. So meditation is the only way to silence our mind, and the divine qualities that are inside the mind we can bring to the fore by virtue of proper meditation.
How does one go about meditating? Say someone who has never done it before, someone who is not familiar with the process.
Well, if he does not have a teacher, he can read some spiritual books. These books will help him immensely. And if he is fortunate to have a spiritual master to be a source of inspiration or guidance, then he is fortunate.
If someone wanted to get closer to God and they wanted to be more prayerful and more spiritual, how would you lead them?
Yes, I would tell them to do two things, to pray and also to meditate. Yes, when they pray, they have to remember that they are talking to their Heavenly Father. And while they are meditating, they have to feel that their Heavenly Father is talking to them and they have to obey Him. It is a conversation. Now we two are talking, and if one person remains silent, then the other person cannot do anything. There should be a constant communication between you and me. Like between the seeker and God, there should be a constant communication. So when the seeker has to say something, he has to pray. And when he has to learn something, he has to meditate. When I pray with my folded hands, I am invoking. I am going up, like climbing up a ladder. I'm going up to be at the feet of my Lord Supreme. I'm climbing up, and then I will reach a certain state of consciousness. There I will see my beloved Supreme, and I will immediately go and touch His feet and be at His feet. And then when I meditate like this, I will become calm and quiet. Then He will descend into me. He will climb down, descend into my heart, and then He will give me the message, and I will try to execute them.
Can you tell me the difference between prayer and meditation?
Prayer can accomplish everything. Meditation also can accomplish everything. But the only thing is, when you pray, sometimes we feel we are totally helpless. We are praying, absolutely we are helpless. God, come and save us. This is our feeling, that we are utterly helpless. Somebody in the name of God will come and help us out. But meditation makes us feel there is someone whom we know who will come to our rescue. He is my Father, eternal Father. But when we pray, we feel that we are in the street, a beggar, and knocking at somebody's door. Then
And if the person is kind enough, he will open the door and give us what we need. But when you meditate, you have a different feeling. We feel the whole world belongs to us, each and every. So we knock at the door, and somebody who is our Father, then he opens. We have confidence that the person whose help we need is our friend, is our Father. But when you pray, only we feel that somebody far above will come to see our bleeding heart, and you'll feel. So meditation has the advantage to feel that the person whom we are praying to is familiar with us. We knew him, we know him, he is our eternal friend. But prayer also feels that God the Father is our friend. But when we pray, we are not certain that he will come and fulfill our desire or aspiration. But when we meditate, we have more certainty in our life, because we have established the feeling of familiarity, that he is our Father. He has to. We have some confidence. Father will listen to me. How many times we have to beg him, since he is my Father. But meditation prayer does not have the certainty. Meditation and prayer acts like a beggar. So we may knock at somebody's door for a long time. There is no guarantee that the person inside will come and open the door. But when you meditate, we have some inner assurance that the mate is very familiar, he will come and open the door. And again, when you pray, we go up to see the feet of God. But when you meditate, like this, when you pray, our goal is to go and see and touch the feet of God and be at his feet all the time. But when you meditate like this, we bring him down. We meditate him. It is like the kite. When you release it, it goes up. Then again you can bring it down. So when you meditate, we bring him down into our heart, and then we say that now you utilize us. We are ignorant. Prayer is going up to see the feet, and meditation, feet of God, and meditation is to bring down the compassion eye and the forgiveness feet of God, to bring down. So one goes up to see, another goes down to bring down.
Is it a mistake then that we in prayer we're really asking for something rather than just communicating?
No, that's not a mistake. But if you pray for something good, it is not a mistake. My mind is bothering me. My mind is full of doubt, suspicion, anger, and so forth. See, if I pray to God, please, oh God, please remove my doubt, suspicion, anxiety, worry, and so many negative forces. So this is not good. But again, if you pray to God to give me 10 houses, 20 cars, that is bad. That is possession. Here something, if I pray to God, if he comes down with his compassion, if he illumines me, things that I am asking, because my doubting mind has created so much problem for me, my suspicious mind. So God is all the time is ready to help us if you are praying to him for something good. So, but we have to know what kind of prayer it is. To come, for God to come and remove my fear, doubt, anxiety, or I am praying for my material success. If they pray together, if it is possible, if they pray together, it will be more effective. But if they cannot, what can you do? If you can meditate together, you can get better results. And again, some people think that, as soon as they see somebody else, their inspiration disappears. Aspiration disappears. But the ideal thing is to meditate together as often as possible, pray together. Because it's a collective work. Collective work, it is good to as often as possible. And I say that when you pray to God, it is a conversation is going on. When you pray to God like this, immediately feel that God is here, little above, or God knows how high he is, but he is listening to our prayers. God give us this. And then again, when we meditate, at that time we feel his existence is not there. It is here. So two way. When now I am talking to you, a few seconds ago you talked to me. So when we pray, we feel that he is above, he is listening what I am saying, Then when I meditate, I feel that he is talking to me. Do this, don't do this. He is telling me what to do. So if you can take God, you can have the feeling that he is right inside. You can have endless talk. But our mind tells us that God is there somewhere else above. So that's what, to convince the mind, we feel that God, we should pray there and God is listening to us. But again, if you can go beyond the mind, if you live here, then inside the heart, our conversation is going on constantly, sleeplessly. Meditation is the only way to increase our capacities in each and every field.
No matter what it is.
No matter what it is. Because meditation helps us at every moment to offer our own individual will to God's will. So if we can identify by meditation, if you can identify ourselves, you can establish our oneness with God's will, is there anything that you cannot achieve? When he said, let thy will be done, that means my Father and I are one. On the strength of his oneness, he said, my Father and I are one. Then the Son became the Father himself. Just because we do not have that kind of faith in our Creator, we are separated from the Creator, from the creation. So meditation only unites us with the rest of the world, with heaven and earth. Meditation. So if meditation has the capacity, meditation has the capacity to unite us, the journey and the goal. For meditation is in between, and meditation as a starter, meditation carries me to my destination, to my goal.
So start a few minutes in the morning and then.
What is the value of meditation?
Yes, the value of meditation is incalculable. One cannot measure the value of meditation. It is something measureless. When we meditate, we enter into our source. The source is the infinite, eternal, and the immortal in us. So when we establish a free access to our infinite capacities within us, we feel that we can be of dedicated service to humanity. So meditation takes us deep within and then again brings us to the fore. Our inner divinities, inner qualities, meditation, by virtue of meditation, we can bring to the fore and offer our qualities to humanity. So
is it important to have a teacher for meditation? And do you need a mantra and things like that? Or if you don't really know anything about meditating, can you just sit down and meditate?
Certainly you can. It is not at all obligatory to have a teacher. And the person who did the best meditation on earth didn't have the teacher. But again,
and that person was?
Whoever was,
okay.
Whoever realized God, whether you can say, we say Lord Krishna, and you say Jesus Christ, and there are quite a few world saviors. Right. So then again, he who realized the highest, the absolute, for the first time, didn't have a teacher. Now here there are many people who go to school, colleges and universities, and again there are people like Bernard Shaw and India's Tagore. They did not have university degrees.
Right.
So here, if you have a teacher, well and good, but if you do not have, then you don't have to be doomed to disappointment.
Can you just sit down and meditate?
Certainly you can, only to make your mind calm, quiet and tranquil. And if you have read some books, spiritual books, then they can be of tremendous help to you.
You meditate always when you're lifting weights, when you're doing the music, the compositions, poetry, art, the paintings? Is it always when you're meditating?
If it is personal, in my case, I always feel that somebody is meditating in and through me. Consciously I meditate for hours, and again I see and feel clearly that my inner pilot, I call, he is praying, he is meditating in and through me.
The inner pilot, that's an interesting expression.
Interesting.
How do you explain that to people who've never heard that?
Well,
I've heard it before from you. What does it mean?
Journey, we need a boat. If we want to reach a destination, we become a passenger, and there is a boatman, and the boatman plies the boat and takes us to our destination. Similarly, in the inner life also there is a river, a consciousness river. Near the boatman, I am in his, out of his infinite bounty, he has allowed me to be in his boat. So now he is piloting the boat to my destination. He is the boat, he is the boatman, again he is the goal. So now I am a passenger. So he is, with all his infinite compassion and love, he is the boatman, he is sailing the boat towards the destination.
Do you feel, is there a certain time of the day to meditate?
Of course, for everything there is a special time for us to eat at a particular time and take rest, sleep at a particular time. In that case, it is always advisable to meditate early in the morning and in the evening, at least twice. Because early in the morning, before the hustle and bustle, before you enter into the hustle and bustle of life, if you can pray and meditate, and then we make a very fast progress. In the evening, when the sun sets in, we feel the nature is peaceful, and that is the time. Early in the morning, early in the morning and in the evening. And these two, early in the morning and the evening are the best times for each and every human being. Again, some people keep late hours, find it very difficult to get up early in the morning. So I say, whenever you get up is the best time for you. You get up, say, at 5 o'clock, and I get up at 10 o'clock in the morning. For you, 5 o'clock is the best time. For me, I get up at 10 o'clock. So at least before I enter into earthly activities, if I perform my heavenly activities, which is my prayer life and meditation life, then I feel that I'm doing the right thing.
Prayer and meditation are not the same.
No, prayer and meditation are two different things.
All right, but about meditation, do you have a tip or a suggestion for the many people who watch us about what would be the best way to meditate, a successful technique for it?
Yes. When you meditate, the very first thing that meditation demands from us is peace of mind. And how do you get peace of mind? You get peace of mind only when you do not allow any thought to enter into our mind. Each time a thought enters into our mind, we feel that somebody is knocking at the door, or somebody is hammering at the wall. So now we don't want to be disturbed by thoughts or anything that is not in tune with our prayer and meditation.
How do you meditate consciously? That was interesting to hear. I mean, when you say meditation, I think the average person out there in the audience will think basically the Buddha position or something of that nature. How do we meditate?
You meditate even while you're sitting.
Now I'm meditating. See, I am here with you on television, here at the studio. I'm very grateful to see.
And with that, he's meditating. I don't want to interrupt, but I'm curious how he's able to do that.
So this is
takes me 3 hours to fall asleep. How can you do that?
As soon as it is at my command that I don't want. Believe me, I didn't allow any thought interference. I didn't allow any thought. I just, in a fleeting second, I entered into my highest I don't want.
But did you hear me speaking while I was interrupting? I mean,
yes, I was quite conscious.
Yeah,
but it did not disturb me. That you said they don't want to interrupt me, but it did not interrupt me. It did not interfere. I heard it, but at the same time, it did not affect me. Like the sky, the birds are flying and the planes are flying. I don't think the sky is affected. Vast sky, you see, we hear noise. We human beings, when we hear the loud crash, loud noise, the plane and makes, then we are disturbed. We are annoyed. But the sky is not annoyed. I embody and reveal and manifest what we call Savikalpa Samadhi. This Samadhi allows thought waves to come in, but will not be affected at all. It is like the flight of birds are flying, the sky is not affected, the sky is not scratched. So thought may come, but you are not perturbed, you are not disturbed, you are not affected in any way. Your indomitable will is infinitely stronger than the thought wave that your mind is encountering. Now will be the Vikalpa Samadhi. Here there will be no thought, no iota of thought, nothing. You are in your loftiest consciousness, your aspiration flame is rising up, high, higher, highest. Nothing can prevent you from entering into your own highest transcendental consciousness, and nothing will follow you. You and your own aspiring consciousness, or if you have already realized, then your realization consciousness. Nothing. You and your highest, no thought whatsoever. No incident, nothing. Absolutely, you are in the world of blossoming peace. You can say blossoming peace or peace in its absolute tranquility. Here vastness and immensity and transcendental height are inseparable, and you are going into that divinity's reality. This Nirvikalpa is infinitely higher than Sovikalpa.
Do not delay, do not delay. It is already too late. God has rung his bell for the last time. Awake, awake. If not, utter disaster will devour you, O seeker. My aspiration heart is God's sweetness song. My dedication life is God's fullness story. My Lord Supreme proudly treasures my willingness life and my eagerness heart. Those who are afraid of studying at the surrendered school founded by God Himself will never, never be able to please God. God is God's compassion eye fountain. Man is man's suspicion mind mountain. Humanity needs only one thing, the resurrection of its long lost faith in God. To feel and say that you love God, but God does not love you, is the startling and shameless revelation of your own insincerity. God is shocked to see our very, very poor attendance at His compassion, smile, feast. God tells us that if we want to be perfect instruments of His, then our own aspiration heart needs more intensity and our dedication life needs more purity. An earth-bound life I was, a heaven-free heart I now am.
Sri Chinmoy was born in 1931 in northeast India. There he spent over 20 years in a spiritual community before coming to the West in 1964. He has fostered goodwill internationally and inspired many people in all walks of life with his philosophy, writings, poetry and art.
My beloved President, my heart's infinite gratitude and gratitude to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a million. I'm really honored to take part. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
In the Russian way. We can do it in the Russian way. I'm very glad to see you. Я очень рад. Я застегнут. Фотоаппарат. Фотоаппарат.
We give the thanks, Almighty God, for these and all the other blessings, which of thy bounty we have received, through Jesus Christ our Lord. May God's blessings be with you all. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Thank you. Thank you.
There are over 125 Sri Chinmoy centers around the world. What goes on in them? What happens in the centers?
My students all over the world, wherever there are centers, they pray and meditate, and they read my writings. And also, as you know, I've composed thousands of songs. They listen to the music, and they are also, some of them are accomplished musicians and singers, so they sing. This is prayer life. We pray, and then they meditate. We read my books, and also they read books written by others, spiritual books. This is what we do.
How are your spiritual lectures conducted? Most Westerners are familiar to some extent with a Mass in a Catholic church, or a Protestant ceremony, or a Jewish ceremony. Can you describe what you do?
I give talks, and I answer questions, and also I teach my students, my disciples all over the world, to how to meditate. And I have written, as you know, considerably, and also I help them inwardly. God, out of His infinite bounty, has given me the capacity to communicate with the souls of the seekers. So I teach the souls of the individual how to convince the aspiring heart and the searching mind to pray and meditate. So I mostly deal with the souls. When the souls deal with the individuals, I feel it is most effective. Otherwise, when we give mantra to some individuals or ask them to practice some mantras, the mind comes to the fore. And the mind is right now all confusion. The mind needs illumination. Whereas if we start our journey right in the heart or with the heart, then heart is identification. Here we can establish our inseparable oneness with the soul right in the heart. So our path is the path of the heart and not of the mind.
Do you ever get angry?
Well, I am a human being, but my anger may not be the same as somebody else's anger. Sometimes I have to pretend to my students, because that is the only way they can understand.
Acting. Do you do a little acting when you're working with your students?
No, only it is sometimes, you know, it is like a show outwardly, so that they may take seriously. But it is not the anger of an animal or beast and to kill someone or to destroy, far from it.
But do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
So you drive in?
No, I don't drive. Now my students don't. I have quite a few students. They say that you take care of our inner world, we have to take care of your outer life. So I have my license and everything, but they are very kind. They say, you are helping us in our inner lives, so we should help you in your outer lives. So while you are in the car, you can pray, you can meditate, you can do everything, whatever you want to. So they are kind to me.
So you probably have 75% less anger anyway than the average person, because
God alone knows.
driving around.
so much tension, then they're kind to me. So I can do my own inner work.
Do you know how many students that you have?
I have now disciples, if you call, who are following our path seriously and devotedly, about 1,500. And then again, followers, I have over 2,000. Then friends and admirers, there are many. But who are strictly, let us say, are in our boat, about 1,500.
What does it mean to be a follower of Sri Chinmoy? Does it mean that we put pictures of you up in our house and meditate in front of them? Or?
There are two kinds. Followers are not observing. They are not so serious. They are not observing the rules and regulations. Means, whereas the disciples, they pray early in the morning, they meditate, they read my books, and then it is disciples are those who have accepted the inner life, spiritual life, infinitely more seriously than the followers. Followers, they can meditate today, and for quite a few days they may not meditate. Once in a blue moon, they can be very serious and sincere in the spiritual life, whereas the disciples will be serious and sincere every day. They have taken up the spiritual life seriously. The followers have not taken up the spiritual life seriously.
The disciples are the ones who follow what you more closely what you said, rules and regulations.
Rules and regulations.
So the rules might be rules such as you get up at 5 and meditate?
Yes, meditate and read books, and then sing some songs which will inspire them, spiritual songs. I've composed quite a few songs, thousands of songs, so they can be inspired both in English and Bengali. Bengali is my mother tongue, and in English I have composed thousands of songs. So it is like one cannot meditate for hours, but one can read. After meditation, one can read spiritual books, and one can sing soulful songs, and then again late in the evening before they go to sleep, they can pray, meditate, and read books.
Is it possible for people who are not of your religious persuasion?
Excuse me, mine is not a religion. Mine is just a road. We walk along a road. Religion is not the same as the road. We walk along the road. You can practice your religion, she can practice her religion, and I can practice my religion. But if we walk along the road, there is no objection. We can reach our destination.
Now, prayer and meditation are important to you.
Absolutely.
You don't care what the religion is, whether it's Catholic, Jewish, Buddhist,
for me,
Hindu, Muslim, it's all the same.
No, each religion, according to me, is a home.
Okay.
We have to be in your house, I have to be in my house. But then again, we have come here together. Say then there will be always a meeting place, but a residing place. You will be at your place, and I will be at my place. But then again, to exchange our thoughts, goodwill, love, friendship, we have to be at a particular place.
Oh, my Lord, beauty, you are beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful, beauty unparalleled in the Garden of Eden. Day and night, may the image abide in the very depths of my heart. Without you, my eyes have no vision. Everything is an illusion. Everything is barren. All around me, within and without, the melody of tenebrous pangs I hear. My all is filled with excruciating pangs. O Lord, O my beautiful Lord, O my Lord of beauty, in this lifetime, even for a fleeting second, may I be blessed with the boon to see thy face.